Who's who? I don't know what you're talking about.
I am.
Dude, wouldn't that be a twist? James is the Guised Lord.
He probably is. We don't know.
Shit, man.
Somebody knows.
We'll find out at the 8 o'clock news whenever that comes on. Who knows?
Tyler, do you know who the Guised Lord is?
I have no idea, my man. But let's find out together, okay?
Aww.
So I'm going to take you guys, and you can look at your handiwork.
Ooh,
This is what
nice.
remains of Redmane
That-
Forest.
That was a pretty big explosion.
It was. Look
That
at it.
fucking wood butch dead.
Wood
Wood
Butch.
Butch.
Holy shit,
Fucking
man.
Wood Butch.
I
Yep.
was so tired that night. Brad was fucking off his rocker. James was red as rain.
Yep. So that was
James
that.
Still living off his Las Vegas high.
A little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. But that's what remains of Redmane. It's pretty much between then and now, which will start off maybe 10 minutes after the fact, after we've dusted ourselves off and escaped. Truly, there's very little left of the forest.
Hmm.
A lot of it is still burning out in sort of a circle out from where the epicenter was, which was more or less in the very center of the place. But it was a tremendous forest, and it's mostly gone.
Is what's left still like gnarled and shitty?
What's left is mostly the roots, and it's all charred and black, but what's there
Yeah,
is
right.
it's still the stunted, fucked up trees, but they're, gone.
Did we kill all the things we were killing? Yeah,
You
okay.
killed the heart of the forest.
Oh, yeah.
I killed the bitch.
Mhm. And essentially the forest is dead. Although, I
You
mean,
guys, something I wrote.
is it a cool poem?
It's a poem.
Okay.
I don't have a poem, but here. Gondor's Zendarian is an old elf. His parents died. He's
Oh,
searching for
yeah.
something. He's 164 years old. He's 6'4", 180 pounds. He's got gold eyes, pale skin, and white hair.
Are you just reading off your notes? Because you don't need to do that.
That was
Those
beautiful.
are my notes.
Okay.
And it was a poem about Gondor Zendarian.
Thank you, Jake. Let's move on.
Gondor, heart, love you forever.
Horris Bucket's only note is irritable bowel syndrome. Holy shit.
Alright, so I'm going to bring you guys back to Piers Bale. It's no longer raining, but it's still, the same scene, essentially. And some of the northernmost parts of Piers Bale, where you've come out not exactly near the town, you were up in the mountains, sort of to the north of the town. But as you come into the town proper, you see that some of the buildings actually burned. They were close enough that the fire caught on the wind or what have you. But it's not significant, but, I mean, what was here was already burnt or ruined anyhow. Yeah, gasp, exactly.
Fuckers killed my homeland.
I killed nothing, you fuck.
And so you see in the usual place fairy lights above the hearth.
Do we still see zombies and piglets?
No. In fact, as you look across, you can see that
Man.
where the mains and zombies had been wandering, they are no longer wandering. They are just lying. Could be asleep for the night, maybe, if they sleep, but you don't see any walking.
So this is nighttime?
This is, yeah.
I think destroying the heart destroyed them.
We can only hope.
We should
Yeah.
find the fairies.
Okay.
Pixies. Racist.
Sorry.
Tyler said fairies too.
No, I didn't. I said Pixies.
Yeah, he
It's my favorite band.
did. Wait. Do we trust these pixies?
No, let's go.
Well, we trusted them enough to run in the forest and kill a heart.
Mm. It's true.
Yeah, we literally
Yes.
destroyed a forest for these fucking idiots.
My forest.
And they promised us compensation, so
They gave us
That's a
the
good
scroll.
we're gonna find out if we trust them.
Mm.
Scroll was to help us.
Oh, we didn't use it. Because some
Thank
idiot was
God.
running through the forest with it, trying to jump on
Well,
trees and get
Glad
lost.
we saved it. All it took was one torch to light the whole thing.
Right. Those
Yeah.
dry as kindling you
I
found.
have the best torches. The only torches.
Yeah, maybe it was Olenoth's fucked up torches. There's something wrong with them. They just light everything. So, where would you like to go? You'd like to go back to the hearth where you see the pixie lights? I said fairy lights because that's the term for dancing lights.
Are we gonna hear the music again?
Maybe.
Guys, I think we should go back to the Pixie Hearth.
I'm just gonna go wherever. Where are we going here?
Yeah, the fairies.
Okay. So they're gonna go back to
Call them fairies when we get there.
the den
I'm
of
sure
King
they'll-
Corpus.
King Corpus is about to be a corpse.
Ooh. As you get closer to that there, here, I should still have the fire sound. Because there is still parts of that forest are still burning. Way to the north, far, far off. But when you near the hearth, you hear different music this time.
Aww.
Uh-oh.
So as usual, when you near the lights recede, but there's no lights inside the hearth. It's dark in there at the moment.
Alright, I'm going in.
Okay.
Is
So you-
everybody robot-y or is it just me?
Might be just you. I'm okay.
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I sound good.
Close Discord and reopen it.
Oh, shut up.
Give it a shot. We'll still be here.
I can't find Discord.
Oh, it goes in your toolbar.
Anus.
It goes in your anus.
It just turned into a tiny square in the top of my screen.
Right-click it, and then exit. Quit.
I know how to do this stuff. Okay, here we go.
Bye.
Brad's gay.
Oh, he's gone.
Right quick, steal all the loot. Horris is just standing there lifelessly. We just jack all his shit. What?
All right. So Horris pops his head into the hearth, and there's a different ambiance in here.
Pop.
Absolutely, for sure. So you see, it's just two pixies in here. It is Corpus
What up,
in his
pixies?
crone. Corpus in his throne, and Harbor is there.
What up, Corvus?
Oh, no.
So Corpus sees you, and he says, "Great Sylvanus, what have you done to our home?"
Hey, you idiot. You said do it, you idiot.
I asked you to remove the heart of the forest, not the entire forest.
I'm sorry, but you gave us permission to do that. Refer to your other idiot pixie over there.
Harbor says, "It's true, Corpus. They did as they were told." Corpus says, "Silence. A small fire could have been used to purge the heart of the forest. This was an inferno. It looks as though you opened a portal to the infernal plane. Look, even parts of the town are burned."
Hey, speaking of planes, maybe you should step into an alternate plane of existence and blame a guy I know called Obama.
Corpus gestures the party in, where Gondor and Olenoth are sort of standing at the door behind Horris.
The deed is done.
Corpus looks at you, Olenoth. He says, "You've already left your village in waste, and now you've ruined our home too. Where will you stop?"
We did as you've asked.
He sighs.
He can't talk.
He says, "There's nothing left there. Have the roots burned."
Not all of them.
Harbor's sort of looking on sheepishly. Corpus looks seriously pissed. Corpus says, "Redmane can be
Harbor's
repaired. It will take time, but with a new heart, the forest may live again."
Where
We just
will
killed
new
the heart of the
come
forest.
from?
Why do you want a new heart?
He nods and he says, "Our city was there. Redmane was our home. And there's nothing left."
You guys don't take up much space. There's some trees.
"It was more than us," Corpus says. And he sighs again. He says, "You should know you lived here."
Are you the king of them all?
"King of who?"
The pixies.
"Of course, king of the pixies, and see what's left of my retinue." And there's just Harbor there, sitting on a toadstool, looking kind of sullen.
Died?
They've gone off to mourn, to survey what happened. The reports aren't good coming back to me.
The heart is dead.
Yes, and I thank you for that, but should you wish to know what you're looking to know, you came here with a question for me, which I will answer if you fix your wrong here.
How do we fix it?
To the east is another forest even older than this one, he
Want us
says.
to burn it down?
He shakes his
I got you on
head.
this one. I got you, fam.
Harbor sort of gives you a look like don't push him. Corpus says, we would have gone to this other forest, but Redmane was dear to us. It was where we built our city. But to the east,
You let somebody take it.
there's not much left out there. Corpus says, Everdew Forest to the east. It's said that it's so vast that it has 2 hearts. If you truly intend to set your actions right, you will go there and return with a seed.
Gonna milk one of them? Huh? How do... Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
How do we get a seed?
From the heart of the forest. The heart you destroyed had a seed, but I know it is burned. If that's where the fire started, it's gone.
The seed's inside the heart?
Near it, typically beneath the oldest tree, the tallest tree, the one the heart was defending.
How do you know it's burned?
He gestures where he knows the ruins of the forest to be. He says, I know. My pixies have reported back to me.
Will the hearts of Everdew part with their seeds?
He shrugs. Perhaps if you let them know that Corpus wills it, that we could save another forest with this extra heart, the denizens of Everdew may not be eager to part with it, but it may be possible. Perhaps if a trade is conducted.
Do the hearts of Everdew, excuse my ignorance, potentially, know of you, King Corpus?
He rolls his eyes, he looks over at Harbor. Corpus is well known, and then Corpus nods to you. Perhaps not that well known, but well known, all the same.
What do you propose we trade to a dryad?
Corpus looks to Horris and he looks to Gondor. He says, "What would a tree want?"
Perhaps a favor?
Perhaps they'd want anything, but it's not my problem at this point. It's your problem because you destroyed the forest.
Yeah, who gave us permission to do that? Who said any means necessary? Who said okay after Corpus or Harbor over there convinced you that it needed to be done? I'd say this is all on you, buddy. You gave us the matches. We just set the fire, bro.
The scroll was a gift, not a license for arson.
Oh, okay. So you wanna put the gun in our hands, but you don't want us to use it. I see how it is.
What's done is done, and if you wish to make good on what you've done here, if you wish to improve the situation, if you wish to know what it is you came here to know.
I think we did a pretty good job. I don't know about
The source of this blight, I will tell you if you bring a new seed.
Is the blight gone?
It's mostly gone. What's burned is no longer blighted, but what's burned no longer lives. And Corpus says, it's all dead. There's no longer a blight, but there's no longer a life.
Gondor. You're a
Yes.
wood elf, right?
What's going on in there? I can't hear from out here.
Gondor's crouching in there trying to get his head in there.
What do you propose a dryad would favor or need, desire?
I suppose water, sunlight.
Good answers.
those are
Yeah.
things trees need.
Very clever. The problem is that the heart of the forest that you previously encountered wanted nothing more than for you to leave. That could have been on account of the eerie purple glow in its eyes that drew it to attack you. But it was also the forest aflame had something to do with agitating it.
Okay, so don't set flame to Everdew.
Corpus says, yes, do not set Everdew on fire. He says, go to the heart of the forest, do not burn the forest down, get the seed, bring it back. He raises up his hand, and the decanter of wine in his hand falls and it shatters. He says, perhaps I should stress one other thing. Do not burn the forest down. Everdew is not blighted, and perhaps will not catch fire so easily, and you could potentially use flame there. Perhaps it's not the best idea, but it's an option.
Fire. How far is Everdew?
Harbor says, a few miles from here to the east.
So
And in
I-
fact, you know that, yeah. You know it's not too far.
And do I know what we would expect to find in there, other than dryads?
Well, the thing is, you didn't often go to Everdew. When you were given those bedtime stories, like, don't go out at night, you know, don't talk to strangers, there's also, don't go into Everdew and fuck around in there, because there's magic things in there. It's a little bit different. It's an older forest, and so it doesn't have the same nature that's so kind to humans. You know it not to be a particularly dangerous place, but you know that there are typically magical things happening there.
Okay.
In fact, the fact that these pixies here, Corpus and his retinue, the fact that they lived in Redmane is a little bit of a surprise because it's the smaller, younger forest. You would expect pixies to be living in Everdew. Seems more appropriate for them.
Will Harbor be accompanying us?
Harbor says, if you wish. There's not much for me here. And he looks at Corpus, and Corpus sort of has his face in the crook of his elbow on his chair. He's just in this tortured position. Harbor says, I will accompany you for a ways.
Yeah, that's what you said last time, until we got to the forest.
That was a blighted forest. It's different.
Pussy.
Do you want my assistance or not?
Please.
Yes.
Harbor takes like a shitty little fat guy bow, and then he hoists himself up on his wings and flutters to the
Horris,
entryway.
Why don't you give him a ride?
My
Yeah.
pockets are full. Somebody else take this.
Well, Harbor doesn't need someone to carry him. He's a little bit sluggish, but he can make his way.
Okay.
All right. So outside of the hearth here, outside the den, again you can see that what's the name of this town again? Piers Bale. It's there's no longer the living dead wandering. As I said, they're all recumbent.
On our way there, can we walk through a little bit of the town?
Sure, absolutely.
I want to kick one of those pink things.
So you guys, you follow Olenoth, who just sort of, he's wandering a little bit. You can see he's in a bit of a reverie, as this was where he grew up. And when you approach, it seems like the town's well is like the central area, and there are probably a dozen or so
Piers Well.
undeads. Yeah, Piers Well, that's right.
Yeah.
And you kick one of the mains and it's unresponsive. It doesn't move.
And the zombies?
Same, no
Undead.
response. They're all dead. It seems like the plague that had blighted the forest is not here anymore. Give me a
Gondor.
perception check, guys.
Gondor, do you feel any presence of undead around us?
No, nothing.
You want to use your divine
Not
sense?
like before. I could.
Yeah.
13.
I'd like to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Please roll.
Yeah, I'll do divine sense.
Okay.
Also,
Okay.
we're doing perception.
Yes, indeed.
4.
Fuck. 9.
They'll get better, Brad. Don't worry.
Fuck.
You know, Horris, you don't actually smell that bad right now.
All you can smell is the smoke from the forest burning,
That's
truly.
better.
Kind of covers him up. So, you guys can see that all the undead have stopped stirring, and as well, there is a different sort of taste on the wind. The way the mains smelled, it was sort of like a charred, ozone kind of ash and brimstone taste to it, but that's no longer there. The air sort of seems cleaner, apart from all the soot on the wind. So Gondor, when you cast your divine sense, you can feel that previously the forest was like a hot bed. It was just incredibly warm with the presence of evil, and it's more or less gone. There's residual in the roots, what's left there, but the fire seems to have purged the worst of it.
All right.
Said we opened up a portal to the infernal plane. Was that just an analogy?
It was.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Yes, as I said, there's nothing like before. I'm not sensing anything. Let's lead the way to the forest.
Harbor nods, and then he leads you south and east toward the farmlands, the open plains, all still fallow and muddy from the rain, but you can cross those easily. You travel on out of Piers Bale here, and you go east. Let me drag you guys to the map here.
Piers Vale, the home of Daniel Pier
Right.
and Christopher Pier.
So right there, we're behind the M. That's where Piers Bale is.
Where was Redmane?
Redmane was to the south and east of Piers Bale. Here, I'll mark it. Just a little teeny tiny village, like there. Let's get a more visible color.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, white.
Yeah. Maybe
There, it's blue.
blue.
So the forest was a smaller one, and Everdew was the one that's to the east. This is a far larger one, yeah. I mean, parts of it have sort of caught a little bit, but this is a much newer, fresher forest. So as you're traveling, you do see that parts of the forest had touched. They were near Redmane, and so some of it is burned, but not so much as what happened to Redmane. Harbor leads you and leads you and leads you, and it's quite a ways. I'm going to let you guys take a short rest, too, if you need to rest. So you'll be traveling for a couple miles, anyway.
I think I'm
Yeah,
pretty much
'cause
full on everything.
I don't know what my HP was before I didn't save it.
Okay, alright.
So
We'll say that you're
gonna
topped up.
reset.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, since I leveled up, it automatically goes to full HP, right?
I don't actually know.
I'm not
what the
sure,
protocol
yeah.
is.
I mean, generally, when you do a level up, it's when you're at your home base, you've settled and you're safe and all that.
Right. Well,
We-
we were safe. So
Yeah, that's
I'll
true.
just toss it.
Yeah. You were there at Piers Bale. There were spots you could rest. Harbor helps you find the place.
Harbor, I'm assuming these hearts won't straight out attack us.
What won't straight up attack us?
These dryads, the hearts of this forest.
This is a very old forest, and the dryads, they're a little more calm. You should be in no danger unless you're trying to attack them.
Or burn their forest down.
Right. Again, don't burn down the forest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Horris, what is your preferred terrain?
Mountain.
Okay.
This isn't particularly mountainous. It's pretty flat over here.
You got a new thing.
Primeval awareness?
Is that what it was?
Nice.
You can sense things in a mile radius or something?
Within a mile of you, or within 6 miles if you're in your favored terrain. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. You can sense them. It doesn't reveal their location or number, but you can sense whether they're present.
Does it cost something? Oh yeah, spell slot.
Hey guys, I got this thing. Should I use it?
If you want to pop a slot, be my guest.
Popping slots.
Slots, baby. Is it wet?
No, it's just the name. It's not particularly wet. It is the day after a rain, essentially. You walk, it's pretty much through the night, and in the morning, you reach the outskirts of the place, which Harbor brings you to. Indeed, all covered in dew. So who is leading the party? Who's walking first?
Hopefully not me. I feel bad for him. Not me.
Well,
Yeah.
it
He
should
did
have been
okay.
the fairy,
Yeah,
and then
right, right.
Olenoth behind him because he kind of knows the
Pixie.
area.
Pixie. That's right.
I've never really been here before.
It's
Oh.
true. He really hasn't. You
Alright.
were not a very misbehaved kid. You were pretty good, so you did as your parents requested and didn't go to Everdew. Didn't mess around here
Gondor wants
much.
to be up front.
Maybe he
Sure.
does. Okay, because he knows the woods. He's
Yeah.
perhaps more familiar. He's lived a long time, been in a lot of forests.
Gondor's got that whole thing too, where you can hide in like
Mm.
light
Yeah.
bush and shit like
If
that.
there's some leaves falling, he can disappear behind them.
Yeah.
It's true. So on the outskirts of the forest, it's, a normal forest. You're not getting the same vibe that you did from Evermane, where something was clearly wrong with the place. In addition to being boggy and nasty and the roots had all heaved up, what you see here is a healthy, relatively normal forest. Gondor, can you please roll a perception check for me?
Oh yeah.
No, perception. Different thing.
Perception.
Horris, I've got this rash that's
An
starting
11.
in the back of my leg. Can you take a look at it?
Quiet down. I'm perceiving over here.
Horris is ignoring me.
Make your perception check at disadvantage because Olenoth won't fucking shut up about this rash. I'm serious. Take it at disadvantage. Roll it again.
Alright. I did. It's a
Okay.
10 now.
Alright, let me roll this. Okay.
I think fucking Horris gave me a rash.
So as you're walking along, at the very sort of last minute, out of the bushes, there's something that charges out at you, a furry beast, all foaming at the mouth and terrifying for at least a moment. I'm gonna have you guys roll initiative. There's a boar charging the party.
Oh, boar.
A great big one.
Horris, it's your mother.
Ooh.
No, that's my aunt. Auntie Boar.
Oh, look at that boar.
It's a fucking lion.
No,
It's
that's
a boar. If you zoom in, it's actually a boar.
I know these woods.
I'm
Right.
zooming in.
Oh,
That's a
shit.
fucking lion. What are you talking about?
We got tiles.
Good.
I know
They
which one
moved.
Horris is.
Yeah.
Horris is that little gay ass.
What?
Nothing. Horris is the one with the fucking like.
The V-neck? Why you gotta give me a V-neck?
It's got cordage. It was,
Yeah. Attracting all the ladies.
Wait,
That's
can we
right.
Move these? No.
I guess not. I have to give you
You don't have
permission.
Permission to move these.
So Olenoth is actually white now. I changed the token. You're welcome.
I always
Okay.
knew I was white.
You guys should be able
Hey,
to
I
move
can
your
move
mans.
it. Look
Okay,
at it.
cool.
Look at this rash.
He's chasing you around. I thought you were going after Gondor about that.
No, I was talking to Horris, and Horris was ignoring me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he
Okay.
fucking just gave it to me.
He's not even your party's healer. Why are you fucking with him?
Well, he's used to rashes.
He's usually the cause of
Piece
them.
Poo in the turn order?
It's the lion.
Tampon?
Why is it
The little cord on the edge?
They're supposed to go in your badge.
I didn't know that.
Oh god. Brad's been sticking tampons in his ass for years.
Yeah, people said every 30 days.
Yeah, every 30. You're gonna die of
Uh.
toxic shock syndrome.
Oh, now it's a boar.
Now it's a boar. Happy?
Oh, that's a vertical poo.
That's a pretty mean looking bar.
So let me get those rolls from you guys. Horris has a
We did.
19. Okay. Okay. So the boar gets a surprise round because Gondor failed to see him ahead of time.
Oh no.
Fuck Gondor.
So the boar takes its move. It charges. It just comes rocketing out of the underbrush. Very loud. Very sudden.
What is Harbor doing?
He is too small for the boar to really note as it comes charging through. It just goes for the first human-sized thing it can see.
Can Harbor do anything?
He can, sure. So let me see what this attack is.
Gondor,
Yeah.
make that boar your pet.
I
Go ahead.
can't.
Give it some rations and
Could
pat
do
on
it,
the
yeah.
head.
Animal handling.
Dude,
If you roll real good.
Well, it's not that great.
What is animal handling?
Oh, that is a hit.
Wow.
I could see Gondor.
12 damage.
Oh,
God
jeez.
damn!
Holy shit, that's a ferocious boar.
It is.
Gondor is down?
No, I mean I got lots of health now, but
Okay. What is your health?
well, I'm at 21.
Total?
Yeah, minus
Okay.
12.
Alright, and then the boar moves again because
Yeah.
that was the surprise round. Oh, I need you to make a... What is it, strength or constitution? You have to make a saving throw. Yeah, strength.
It says +3. I'm not sure how I calculated that, but
What's your strength? 12?
yeah.
It's a +1. Are you proficient in strength as a paladin? I think you probably are. I get checked. Dude, this fucking boar is playing
That
the
was a
guitar.
9. Yeah, it is.
Okay, you are knocked prone, my friend.
Ouch.
The boar moves on. It's going to swing at our sturdy fighter here. Miss. So the boar comes charging in, flicking its tusks, trying to catch you, and you manage to evade it. And Gondor, it's your move.
I'm prone.
So you can take half your movement to stand up, and then act as normal.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty fucking jamming fight music.
Yeah, I'll take half my movement to get up, and then
Okay.
if I can run east, sort of into the woods.
I think you can move your mans now. You should be able to move that token.
Oh yeah, I can. How much is each square?
5.
Okay.
So you've
So
got,
I've got,
what,
like-
15? Or
1, 2. Yeah, 15. Well, 17. I'm gonna put myself here. And then I'll take a shot with the longbow at it.
do it up. This is something you're quite used to doing, hunting in the wilderness. Usually the boars
Yeah.
aren't so large, but you've definitely done this before.
What did you end up taking,
15.
That's a hit.
What?
All right.
Brad? For your thing.
8 plus
For my spell?
3.
Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, or Hordebreaker?
Hordebreaker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for 4.
Okay. Horris, it's your turn.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try out this sweet new spell here. It's called Ensnaring Strike.
Nice.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to conjure that up. And then I'm going to shoot him with my bow.
Okay.
And give me 1 second here. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see if I can hit him. Fuck.
Does that hit the boar? Yes, it does.
Yes. Branches of thorny vines come out of where I hit him. And he needs to make a strength saving throw
Got it.
against the vines. And if he succeeds, the vines shrivel away. If he fails, he has to make a strength check every time. his
Okay,
turn
to
starts,
try to
but
free.
Not until he makes a 1d6 to see what damage he gets every time.
Okay, got it. So what is your spell DC?
11.
Saves.
Damn!
You should
Yeah.
be higher than 11.
Nope. Nope, it's 11.
He's not a wizard, so generally don't have
Is it
the
intelligent?
highest. It's just whatever his spellcasting mod is, but I mean, he's Dex, I think. So does he take damage, or he saved out of it and he
No,
takes?
he
okay.
saved out of it. So
Got
he would have had to make a damage roll 1d6 the next turn
Right.
if he hadn't saved.
Okay.
But I still hit him with my bow, so I gotta make damage.
That's
roll.
true.
Let's see if I can get an 11 here. Oh, 6.
So the vines go spraying off into the woods. They sort of miss their target. They don't clamp around the boar as you intended, but the arrow still finds its mark and sinks into its thick hide.
Yay! I did good, right,
You're
guys?
So thick.
Alright, now I'm gonna move, like fucking this way. About
Exact
20
charging
feet.
distance. Olenoth, it's your turn.
Oh, I should have been thinking about this. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna whack him. What else am I gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna whack him with the warhammer. That is a 19 plus 5. That is a 24.
That hits.
2 plus 3 is 5 damage.
Okay. That's just with your hammer?
Yes. And I don't have a light weapon, so I can't use anything as my. So yeah, that's it. How was that? Wonderful.
It worked.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay right there.
Harbor, on his turn, he conjures an illusion. You're gonna see, he conjures a fierce lion. We saw it before, vestiges of it. That was his illusion going off a little early. He conjures a lion that leaps out of the underbrush. We're gonna see if it scares this boar.
Oh shit.
Bring the
Look.
lion back.
Look, Mr. Pigman, there's a lion!
Horris, I wanted to throw you up in the trees. I think that would have been cool.
What?
I wanted to throw you up in the trees.
Oh, that would have been neat.
It's still possible. Harbor's illusion, it doesn't scare the boar and have it turn and run, as you presume he was trying to get it to do, but I should probably have a little harbor token.
It emboldened it. It thinks it's its backup.
Alright, I'll just pick this one at random. It's a tiny little man. I can't make it any smaller than that. But that's Harbor. He's a tiny little pixie man.
He's
like
black.
But he was beside Gondor as he was making his way, sort of pointing him toward. And so when he casts the illusion, the boar strays away from him, and it goes and attacks Gondor again.
Oh, fuck.
no.
Now, do you want to see if you can
wait, do I
hide
get an
from it?
attack of opportunity?
You will. Actually, no. You're still touching it. You're still engaged with it diagonally.
Okay.
You want to see if you can hide Gondor, because you're in the woods.
Yeah.
You definitely have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So make a stealth roll.
Stealth.
We'll see if you're good enough to keep off its radar. Tell you
Probably
what, that was a
not.
pretty shitty roll, but we'll contest it here. No, the boar fucking finds you immediately. No luck, no luck.
What's the size of the boar?
It is large. It is a large creature. It's a giant boar.
Okay.
Very big. Let's see here. Jack dice. 15, does that hit your AC? I don't think it does.
It's 18.
Okay, you're good. The boar comes swinging at you. It's lifting its head and kicking and bucking, but it cannot find purchase on your armor.
Mm-hmm.
Gondor, it's your move.
Oh, jeez.
Gondor, let's go!
I'm gonna have to use my action and disengage.
Got it.
And I'm gonna run 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I'm gonna run all the way down here next to Horris.
Okay. Now, there's some stuff you can do as a bonus action, I believe.
Yeah, I've got a few things I was thinking of.
And take a peek at that spell book.
Alright, since I just abandoned Olenoth, I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on him.
Okay,
It gives him +2 AC.
got
How
it.
long?
10 minutes.
Oh shit.
Get that. Here we are. A shield. So remember that, 2 AC, yeah. So you're
Yeah.
pretty hard to hit now.
I'm a fucking champ.
Is that your move, Gondor?
Yep.
Okay. Horris, you're up.
Alright, Mr.
Horris.
fucking Thing. I'm gonna Hunter's Mark it now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Alright, and I'm gonna take another shot with my shoddy bow here.
Mhm.
Let's do it. Da 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 da. Oh, here's my previous rolls. Just click
You
to
should
that.
get on Gondor's shoulder.
Nice.
Make
He
him
swings,
advantage.
hits with a 20.
Alright.
Roll me some damage.
Let's do
Nice.
That was a
So we
fucking
gotta-
insane modifier.
it. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, he's a hunter. I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is his
I
thing.
mean,
It's not his favored target, but it's something he's definitely done
Right.
before.
I
12
just
damage.
got Hunter's Mark
12.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Plus Divine Strike. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That mean that would be 2 spells, but still, that's for like a
Right.
big bad. That's a lot of extra damage.
Yeah. So you get it. Good shot with the arrow. The boar is still kicking and bucking, and it's there in the underbrush, stomping down the bushes, trying to find Gondor. Although he slipped away. Olenoth, it's your move.
Does it look wounded?
It's pretty
Not
well
good.
wounded.
Run up
Pretty
to him
well
and bop him on the head. I want to take him home for dinner.
You can't do another action. You can run up to him if you wish.
Da-da-da, psh. That's as far as I can go.
Okay.
25 feet. That's as much as I got.
So you see Horris charge in. Horris, you have a battle cry? The classic SpongeBob reference? Okay.
Huh?
Olenoth, go ahead.
My battle cry.
You're still engaged. You've got a Shield of Faith cast on you by your comrade Gondor. You've got Horris charging into your aid. Very
So
intimidating.
Let's try something. I'm gonna move in front of where Horus is,
Mhm.
kind of give him a little protection.
Just stop him dead as he's trying to charge in.
Maybe you shouldn't do that. So
He can
instead
run
of
between
running
your
in,
legs.
And I'm gonna use my Commander's Strike to
Nope.
allow Horus to act again.
Nice.
So
What?
I give him basically my attack, and I use a bonus action to do this.
Hell yeah.
So it's like my full turn, and friendly creature can see or hear you, which obviously is right next to me. I expend 1 superiority die. He can use his reaction to make 1 weapon attack, and I add my superiority die to the attack roll, and he also adds his Hunter's Mark to it,
Okay.
because he gets Hunter's Mark any attack he makes. I tell him, Horse, attack this, basically. I
You
would
would-
imagine I'm kind of like taking the
Yeah.
boar's attention and allowing him to attack.
Sure. Alright then.
So,
So Horus,
Horus,
you can
you
make a
your
weapon attack.
attack.
Does he get a
What?
movement?
No, only
Yeah,
the attack.
it's just a reaction.
I don't
So he
want-
would, I'm assuming, make a bow attack.
Yes, I'm going to shoot him with my bow.
So are
know
you
what?
going to like put your bow over Olenoth's shoulder or something, or brace it against his leg maybe?
I'm doing an open lean.
Okay.
But I'm like wrapping my arm around his waist, and I'm pulling the string of the bow with my teeth, looking at him as I do it.
Nice.
And I accidentally crack a tooth as I'm trying to pull the string of the bow. I roll
Oh.
an 8.
That was your unlucky tooth.
3 die to the attack's damage roll. Fuck.
Oh.
Damage, not attack.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an advantage somehow. I rolled a 19.
Yeah.
The arrow strikes Harbor, he's immediately killed.
I didn't roll a 1.
You
Come
did,
on,
though.
calm down.
You did roll a 1.
Fuck, I didn't think about that.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I had luck.
Okay, luck.
Oh,
Alright,
he's got
alright.
luck.
Okay,
Yes.
well done. Good old halfling luck.
Fucking half.
Okay. So Horus pulls it off. He fucks up his tooth, but he still managed to hit the boar. Alright, roll that damage, and then Olenoth, let him know how much additional damage he's doing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So 15.
Got it.
Oh shit. Plus the big 1 for Brad.
Damn it.
It's the curse of rolling for Brad.
I can smell the pork already.
So with that incredible trick shot, you hit the boar right in the throat, and it staggers. It takes another step toward Olenoth to strike, and then it slumps down and dies.
Yes.
I want to sit down on it.
I run up to it and I start like cutting its innards
Oh
out.
god, you guys are underneath it.
Okay, I stand back off it. The fuck? Yeah,
I am-
you all
I
right,
am hard-
Gondor?
I'm
Yeah,
harvesting
I'll
this
make it.
as we speak.
Maybe you
Oh,
should
boy.
lay hands on yourself.
Yeah, I probably have to.
Yeah.
Do you want help with that?
I don't enjoy
I
it.
grab his groin. No,
What?
no, I don't.
What is happening?
You want to lay on hands?
A handstand.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'll bring myself all the way back up.
Harbor says, "What are you up to there, friend?"
To Gondor or Horris?
He's saying that to Horris.
Oh,
I thought he was questioning my
I'm
hands.
touching
having a-
myself.
I'm
Having
touching
a
my-
good old time with these intestines.
Harbor doesn't really know what to think about that. He's a little bit discomfited. He goes and
can I search
looks over what
the
these guys are doing.
crypts?
Yeah,
Maybe.
absolutely.
Gold on them.
Yeah, you find 3 great big bars of gold inside its anus.
All right, let me mark that on my story here.
No, you found.
Anus bar. All right.
It's like a cliff bar. No,
Yeah.
you found a couple of shattered arrow shafts inside the boar. That's
Okay.
all it's got for loot. Actually, it's got some good-ass teeth, if you'd like those. The tusks, they're about the
Yes.
size of a dagger, yeah.
Ivory tusks. No,
So, how are you going to get those off of the boar?
Hey, Gondor, can I borrow a
Yeah.
hammer?
I'm not carrying one.
Olenoth is.
Olenoth.
I have
Is
one.
it you with the hammer?
Yeah, he's the one with the big old hammer.
Alright, hey.
No,
hold on,
I
come
actually
here.
have a regular hammer too.
He does. If that's
do
canon,
you?
carried over from the other adventure.
No, you get it as part of the Dungeoneers pack.
Oh, I see.
I got a
And the
crowbar here.
Hmm.
I have a crowbar, and I'm gonna hold it under the tusk, right at the mouthy part, and you're gonna swing the hammer and snap off the tusk.
Alright.
Okay?
Hold on.
Should we? Should we make a? Should we make a dexterity check?
I
just
said I
so-
gotta get outside of Gondor.
I would call it a strength check. Strength.
A what?
Outside of-
A strength check from both of you.
Not. Oh, okay.
It's sort of brute strength to hold the crowbar steady as Olenoth takes the swing.
19.
Okay. Olenoth misses the mark on the first swing. You did fine, Horris, but Olenoth missed the mark. You want to try it again?
Let me try this again. Hold still.
Squint with an eye.
You're moving so
closed.
much.
Alright. Should I roll strength check too?
No, you're fine, you're fine. You're holding steady.
I
Don't
think I
tell
hit his hand.
No. You hit your own hand. I rolled a 19.
That was
What
a
are you
7.
two doing?
A 7.
Fuck, hold it still. Condor, come hold this.
Oh, God.
Gondor, they're trying to disfigure this giant boar.
I'm gonna put away my little hammer and take out my war hammer.
Oh, gee. Okay, you need to roll strength again, Horris.
One
I have a
more.
knife. I have a knife. If that'll help.
No, it doesn't help.
I
16.
look like it.
16,
Okay.
we got this.
I'm gonna take your head off. A little bit better. It's an 11.
Alright, you did it. You got one of the tusks off.
Nice.
Oh, fuck.
See, when you hold it still, it works.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Alright, next tusk.
Ugh.
I need both these
Gondor.
puppies.
You want to try this?
No, I
Okay,
don't.
cool. Alright, oh shit.
Yeah, Gondor, this is pretty off-putting,
Maybe
in fact.
maybe I should help. Actually.
Maybe you should dissuade them, Gondor. They're gonna get themselves hurt.
You should stand back.
So Horris got a 7 for holding the crowbar, and
Yeah.
I rolled another 7 for fucking hitting it.
Okay.
God.
You smash the boar's skull.
Oh no! Well, hopefully
Fucking Horris.
did the tusk fall off?
Not quite. It's still attached to the jaw.
Hey,
Oh.
Gondor, you still got that knife?
Yes.
Why don't you make yourself useful?
Okay.
This D20's going away.
I
Oh,
unsheath my knife.
Ooh.
Alright, I'm out of the way now. I'm moving. You get in there with your knifey stuff.
I'm gonna hold
in the
the,
butt now.
the mouth open for him.
Is this a serrated knife?
I'll sit on the top of it.
Yeah, we'll say it's a serrated knife, so it's going to take a
Oh, good.
little bit of work still, though. So, you get the boar's head in your lap, sort of as best you can, without getting guts all over you, and you can start sawing.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want the saw that I have? No, I'm kidding.
He's just going to use a little pocket knife.
What are you gonna do with that, Horris?
He's going to listen to the cool sounds they make.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear the ocean.
You know how that goes.
Okay.
So, you guys want to take a rest? This is going to take a while.
Yeah, sure. May as well.
Gondor's going to be worrying
Actually-
at this tusk for...
While he's taking his time with that thing, I'm gonna harvest the meats of this.
Okay.
I used
And,
one of my superiorities.
I'm going to take out some. What do I got in here? I got a cloth. Yeah, I'll wrap it all up in a cloth. Put it in my backpack. It'll be
Ugh.
dripping a bit, but that's okay.
Damn. So you get all those good cuts. You get the loin meats. You get all the organ meats.
Loin meats, organ meats.
Loin.
Got it.
How does Harbor feel about all this?
Harbor's... I mean, he's not sure what to think about you guys. He's just sort of watching.
We do not waste.
He says, I see that.
You don't have a
Horris doesn't
tusk
waste.
removal spell, do you?
He says,
Wait.
I
you didn't
can't
get it
see
with
any
a knife?
use for the tusks.
I'm still working on it.
He is.
Ah.
He's still
I'm
cutting
gonna borrow
through.
my hammer?
How much?
Warhammer
How much
up
meat
to
would
him?
you say I got?
That seems
5
dangerous.
pounds, 8 pounds, 30 pounds. Looks like a good 30 pound.
You could probably get about 10, but I'd say about 8 of it is real good and easy to carry.
Oh, it's a big size boar. All right,
It is.
so 8 pounds.
Well, you don't have like a butcher's kit. You're going to be sort of cutting off little pieces.
Well,
Why
I have
not?
a butcher's kit. No. Do playing cards help?
8 pounds of boar meat.
It's prime. It's still steaming and stinking. Yeah, it's good
I'm
shit.
Steamy,
Maybe
stinky.
you should otter skin up with its blood.
Got it.
So, you guys sort
I
of...
should start a blood bucket, huh? All right, I'm gonna collect a whole bucket of blood from this boar.
Okay.
It's
I'll
poop
carry
bucket.
it with. I'll carry the blood bucket with us.
All right.
Is it the same bucket?
Do you have a second bucket?
No, it's the same bucket. So
Okay.
it's gonna be dripping with something else before I collect the blood.
So, Gondor, as you're trying to saw this tusk off, you're not sure why, but Horris begins collecting the blood out of this thing. He gets a couple of branches and props it up so the hindquarters can drip.
Can I help Gondor with this by grabbing the tusk in the mouth and trying to pull as he's cutting?
Sure, you can try to do that. You're sort of getting up in his business, though. It might be a one-man job.
He likes that.
Harbor says, should I leave now?
No.
Oh,
No.
you're part of this. You're part of this party now. Look at what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got us into.
Harbor, what do you think a good group name would be?
He says, we have clearly chosen the wrong people for this job.
That's on you, buddy.
I want to walk over to him.
This forest may not be welcome to your approach.
We're not wasting it, though.
He says, I see that. But beware as you go deeper in the forest. It is very old, as I said.
We'll
Wait.
just splash the forest with blood. They'll know what's happening.
Why do you mean? What do you mean by beware? I'm gonna stand closer.
Bucket of blood. Okay.
Why
He-
did this thing attack us?
He says, this is the forest. You are its potential quarry. Is this surprising, warrior?
Can we make them like us? I brought party favors. Streamers. No.
He says, it is possible, but the beast attacked you first. You attacked in kind. this is how it turned out.
Now we got a bucket of blood.
Now we got buckets of blood. We got drippy meat. We got a tusk and a half.
We almost have a second tusk.
Yep.
I'm done. I'm
He's
done with
working
the
on it.
blood.
Okay.
Lots of blood.
So how are
it's
you
kinda
gonna-
like overfilling?
Yeah, how are you gonna carry this bucket?
Oh, I'll carry it. That's
Okay,
fine.
just in your hand.
Yeah. I'm just
All right.
I
Put
got
it down
one.
when he's got to shoot.
Bucket of blood. he'll
and
he'll
I
set it down.
literally just filled it until the very top of the bucket. Like you could see the surface 10 feet of blood. It's higher than the top of the
He's got
bucket.
a-
There's so much.
He's got a very steady hand.
Yeah. Harbor says.
Every time I walk, it just splashes blood.
Yeah. Harbor says, "What do you intend to do with the blood?"
Oh, that's for me.
Yeah, no, we don't ask him questions like that.
The blood's for me.
Just don't worry about him. He'll be fine.
So Gondor, that the tusk finally comes off in your hand.
Yes.
You got it.
Give it to me.
He's-
No, I'm keeping this. This
Oh,
is
what?
a lot of work. You have one.
we
Yeah, I
loosened
got
it
one.
up for
I
him.
got the better one. You got the half broken, like
Yeah.
shitty one.
Yours, Horris, the tip of your tusk got broken off a little bit with this pounding of the
trade you.
hammer.
No.
Oh, okay.
A bucket
Away
of
from
blood
you
for a
with
tusk?
blood.
Yeah. He's splashing all over himself as he walks around. He's sort of pacing. He wants to get a move on clearly, and he's splashing blood all over.
You're disgusting.
No, you. Alright, so let's keep moving then. We're done with this. Actually, I'd like to harvest the pelt of this beast as well. No.
It's gonna take a while.
We just need the meats.
No, we're fine.
Yeah.
Walk up and slam it with a warhammer.
Ugh.
Barry,
Harbor keeps
come
moving.
back here.
Harbor,
He says, "Let us continue."
Harbor, which way should we go?
Do you know where you're leading us?
He says, "I know most of the way."
All right.
Why are you all the way back there then?
Lead
He's
on.
moving. He's moving. So, you guys, you make your way deeper into the forest. And so, as you're going, you start to find that Harbor is guiding you along a couple of cairns. They're like large standing stones that are just periodically along the path. And there are parts where the path sort of vanishes and then comes back in. In fact, there's a lot of sort of shady thickets where you wonder if you're going to be ambushed again. And you follow Harbor past all these standing stones. He seems to read them, or at least look at them. There's some kind of marking on most of them. And,
Do you guys know what they are?
no.
Like the stones?
They appear to be just sometimes like animal marks, like claw marks even, or something that had been, maybe it was at one point writing and it's been weathered away. But sometimes Harbor will have to fly around these standing stones just to kind of see what they're telling him. And after a little while, Harbor, he holds up the party, and he's at one of these standing stones, and you can tell that he's not sure where it's pointing you.
Harbor, what do these stones indicate?
I used to know the way. These stones point us to the heart, but it moves, and the stones... He sort of scratches his head. He says, "The stones are different. They say something different."
What do they say?
He says, "I cannot tell." He
you
gestures
say something
he
different?
gestures at this stone, and it looks like it sort of used to be like a letter K in common script. All of you guys read common, so you can tell that. Well, I think Horris reads. I'm not sure. He speaks it at least. But whatever this marking was is sort of faded. I mean, it's a lot like these other standing stones. When you looked at them, you really can't tell what they're saying. If you'd like to take perception checks, maybe you can get some more insight on them.
Cool.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, baby.
What?
Ooh, that's not typing in the right thing.
16.
Where did I just type? Oh, did we get a short rest back there or no?
Yes.
Well, okay.
We did. Okay.
It was about an hour you were messing around with the boar.
I didn't. I was working out a stupid tusk.
You still got to sit down and rest a little
Alright.
bit.
Does that give you your lay on hands back?
No.
Oh.
I think that's long rest. Yeah, you don't get spell slots back, but you can use some hit dice. So, Horris,
He healed himself up.
What up?
in Olenoth, you suspected this, but Horris, you know that these are druid symbols. And so, druidic,
These are druid symbols?
they are indeed. And so, druidic, it's not exactly a written language, but it's, druid script is something it's sort of like meshed into a message. It's almost like, what's the phrase? If you're a thief or a rogue, you will learn you will learn the cant or the argot. It's this sort of way of speaking, but the druids have this where it's like an implicit message, and if you can't speak or read druid, you simply cannot interpret these messages. And so you get the impression that Harbor sort of knew, or he at least memorized what these stones meant, and either the stones moved or the someone perhaps modified the impression on them, but he can no longer find the way.
Hakuna Matata.
So
We just killed Pumbaa.
Harbor says, I thought I could lead the way, but I think this is as far as I can take you.
Oh, okay, alright. Oh, who didn't see this coming?
He says, I do not wish to get you lost. We were on the trail. We are on the trail. And he's getting a little bit nervous.
Do you honestly think you could get us any more lost than we're gonna?
He shrugs and he says, did you not live in this area?
I didn't come out here. I heard all them stories.
He nods. I can try to find the way if you wish.
We've seen your battle prowess. We need you with us.
What?
Huh? See that lion? Holy shit. That was scary.
He says, thank you.
I think it's best you stick with us, if you will.
And he's going to make a nature check here to see if he can indeed guide you.
Gondor,
Yes.
why are your eyes gold?
It's the way of my people.
Is your family, did they all have gold eyes? Do they all have gold eyes?
A shade of gold, yes.
As Olenoth is talking about this, it brings up a thought, Gondor. Recall that in the forest in Redmane, when you were fighting that dryad, before you slew it, before it was slain by your party, it had this purple cast to its eyes, where, like the twig blights, it had sort of an empty space where eyes would be, but with the blight it was glowing purple. But now you realize that it wasn't purple, but instead blue. With the cast and the color of all the flames, it appeared purple, but you're sort of having this thought. It reminds you, looking into the eyes of that dryad that was affected by the blight, it reminds you of your mother, the last time you saw her, in that moment of terror.
Mm-hmm.
And this is unsettling, because this is something you've been compiling in your journal, is notes about whatever it was. You've been gathering any kind of information about dark magic, sorcery, that you deeply detest, but you're fascinated with it because you suspect it has a link to what happened to your village.
Mm-hmm.
Do I notice Gondor?
Perhaps you notice a
Shot?
change on his face, or his face falls, indeed.
Maybe it's just gas. I want to walk up to Horris and just longingly look into his eyes. Horris, why are your eyes the color that they are? I don't know your eye color.
I think they're brown.
They're poop brown.
Yeah, indeed.
Brown eyes, nice.
You have to, Olenoth, you have to get down on one knee to look into his eyes.
Oh, I'm down on one knee looking long.
You're lying down, you're like kicking your legs like a girl on the phone in her bedroom.
Horris,
What?
why are
What?
your eyes poop brown?
Because my mom's eyes was poop brown, and then I take I scoop like Like I make my hand into a cup and I scoop a bit of blood out and
Aw,
start slurping on it.
yeah.
That's just
the
the way
Gondor.
that's just the way my family's was.
And he gives you this grin, and his teeth are all covered in blood.
That's just the way my family was. My family. Oh god, that's awesome.
So
Okay.
Harbor, he keeps you guys going. You go for a little while, maybe 15 minutes, and Harbor's having a hard time finding the next standing stone. And he tells you this. He's up front, and he says, "I cannot find the next one. The previous stone, the marking had changed, and I don't know which way it pointed."
What do you suggest we do?
I have an idea.
He says, "What is it,
Go
warrior?
ahead.
What?
What is it, warrior? Your
I
idea."
didn't say anything.
You said you have an idea.
No.
I assumed it was out loud.
What was the stuff Horris could detect again?
Oh, primeval. So he can detect,
Undead.
yeah,
and-
bad shit, aberrations.
It was like Fae though too, wasn't it?
Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead.
Do
But-
we know if a dryad is any of those?
Yes, a dryad would be fae. So he can tell you if there's one within a
A
mile,
mile.
which could be helpful.
I would like to detect things.
Okay. You detect the presence of fae within a mile.
Yes. Success.
So
You
hey
just
guys,
happened to get a sense of direction, did you?
I'm being very primevally aware right now, and
Oh.
I detect I detect a fae within 1 mile, give or take.
You're not sure if you believe him. Maybe he's just like monologuing and trying to do like a blood drinking thing. Maybe it's something his family did. They would wax poetic as they drank their quarry's blood. Horris, this
How do you
blood is
know-
disgusting. Ugh.
How do you know you're not
It's
just
so
detecting
good.
Harbor over here?
Ooh, good point. Are you a Fae, Harbor?
He says, "Guilty as charged."
Ooh,
Oh,
I
son
love
of a
Fae.
bitch.
I'm into that.
Well, that was kind of
He
useless.
backs away from you.
I grabbed
Well,
the, I grabbed
Harbor,
the bucket by the
we
side.
have confirmed you are here.
We could ask someone, or some creature. Unfortunately, you killed that boar.
You could talk to that?
Of course, I can speak with animals.
I should
I
have got
don't
that.
think the boar was going to be helpful.
I could have ensnared it.
Hmm. So,
Rope.
Safe.
We could have hog-tied it.
nice. I can go find someone to ask if you stay here.
Well, here, I got the blood from that thing. You think it would speak to you through the blood?
The blood's full of fucking nappies. She's running around everywhere.
I'll find a denizen of the forest to ask for directions.
Oh,
Alright.
okay. Have fun with your denizens and shit. You want some blood?
So, Harbor goes off into the woods.
You want some blood?
He goes off into the woods, off the map.
Shit, you want some blood?
Holy shit, where did he go?
No.
So what are you guys gonna do in the meantime?
Follow Gondor.
Hey, Gondor, you want some blood?
You want some blood? I go pick up the hog.
I
No, I don't. I just look at Horris and give him a weird look.
think we should wait for his return.
Alright,
Step,
let's,
step off. Step off the path with me.
Is
okay.
my extra AC gone yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well-
you said it was. an
Well,
hour.
10 minutes,
That's
yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah. But it's been a while since you killed the boar.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna go prancing off to this direction.
Horris, don't go too far.
Don't spill your blood, Horris.
Prancy, I have the steady hands of a not a surgeon.
Should we leave that dead boar on the side of the road like that?
You guys pulled it off to the side, more or less, as you knocked the tusks off of it. Horris,
I'm swinging my bucket of blood.
Yeah.
Like, Little Red Riding Hood.
There's about half of it left. No, you do that thing where you swing the bucket 360 degrees so it doesn't spill.
I feel
How
like
much is
such a
left now?
fucker.
It's about half left.
Yeah. I drank some of it.
Yeah. He's spilling it
A lot
all
of it's
over.
all over the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of it's all over the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's got more
splashing
of
it.
an earthy texture from the poo.
Horris, you find a cache of, in one of these knot holes in the trees, a whole bunch of tiny little stones.
Investigate. Go.
You stick your hand in there. Actually, you have to sort of climb up on the side.
Whoa.
No, but it's the sound they make, Horris. The sound they make. It's beautiful. You get your hand in there, it's like a bunch of marbles. They sort of clack and click together.
Okay, so I stick my hand in there.
Right. And you churn your hand around, you can hear them clicking and clacking. It's really nice.
Yes.
Gondor, what do you suppose is his story?
I can't explain it.
He is an odd duck.
But he's a good shot.
Vampire?
He's drinking blood.
He's out in the sunlight, though. That's the thing.
That is
Well,
true.
A day walker.
I've heard of
Maybe-
spells that make them immune to sunlight. I've never
think-
seen them in this form, though.
Yeah.
Dumb.
This form,
Dumb.
meaning a halfling that looks like a watermelon wearing clothes.
You think
Yes,
he's glowing under all that dirt and grime?
maybe. Maybe that's why he's always so dirty.
Harbor comes back.
I dropped the stones in my blood bucket.
Nice.
Oh.
Just
So now they clang around in
Yeah.
there.
you drop them in there like one after another, plunk, 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 just enjoying the sound. I believe I can take you the rest of the way, if you'll
Who'd
follow.
you talk to?
I talked to a rabbit.
Was it a ferocious rabbit?
No,
Did you take its teeth?
of course not. I asked it for directions, warrior.
Did you bring its pelt back?
No.
Did you kill it?
I hear their feet are pretty lucky.
He leads you off into the forest this way.
We're like surrounding it.
Harbor, lead the way.
Yeah. So Harbor takes you like immediately off the path. It's not where that standing stone was. It's to the east, and so he's leading you through the forest.
Harbor, how
Yes.
is it that you and your king disagree so much? That's not what I want to ask. Why is it that you don't? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to phrase it.
Olenoth rolls a natural 1 on his charisma check.
Well, he's pretty fucking bad in charisma.
Why do you have differing opinions?
Yeah.
Oh. Corpus has an attitude, which I don't like. Some people find it charming. But
Huh.
I am older than he is, and it's something he does not like.
He resents you for it.
He does. When we had the city in Redmane, before the den, and he waves dismissively at the den as he says it, I had a position of power, and he took his own upon the destruction of the city.
He wasn't the king.
No.
Who was?
I don't have a name prepared.
You want us to give you one?
Sure, come up with a name for a
What was
fairy.
the name? Smeebles?
Actually, no, wait. I do have a name. Hold on. Holy shit. I took
Glass
pretty
hat?
good notes. No, it was Feis. He says Feis was the name of our leader. Feis was a fair ruler, and Feis would never have done as Corpus does, employ outsiders like you. But, given the circumstances, I do not blame him for what he's done.
What?
Was Feist killed?
Yes. When the Blight took over, she was one of the first to die.
You have a thing for her?
He shakes his head. He says,
Oh,
he says,
Harbor, you dog, you.
Corpus is a leader that pales in comparison to her. This is part of why there were so few of us in the den when our city was so great.
Do you think we did the right thing?
I think you did a thing. Whether it is right or wrong does not matter. You answered our request. In my eyes, you have done no wrong, but it still leaves us with no home. Redmane was where I was born. And to see it fall to the blight was terrible. To see it burned, even worse.
Your suggestion.
Olenoth's head falls, kind of like Gondor's did.
That the loss of the home.
Yeah. Well, more at the blight comment.
You are sloshing your bucket along, Horris. So, in what order are we walking here? You guys are following Harbor, right?
Uh-oh.
Who's in the lead?
I'll take the lead again.
You wanna,
I'm
my-
sitting pretty at the end, just
Okay.
keeping an eye out, looking
Elf
at things.
woodiness.
go ahead and put
Well,
yourself
kinda-
behind Harbor.
Kind of got quiet.
Yeah.
He's just not really
That
saying
conversation. Indeed. So you make your way, and you're going, and Harbor leads you into this spot where it's like a clearing, and unexpectedly there's houses here. The houses are very well disguised. They're pretty large too, but they're
I can see them.
right. They're built into the terrain, either into the hills or into the forest themselves, with sort of the trees growing out of them. They're very rustic, but the place is like totally abandoned. There's nobody here. There's probably 12 houses here in the clearing. Not a whole lot, but there are signs that like it's inhabited. So Harbor leads you here to this village. I don't have a map for it.
Oh,
Let's see
we
where I
can
can
take
put
care
you.
of that. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, draw some houses. Let's get rid of that boar. There's a few piles of wood that has been stacked up. There are sheds here and there, but no people that you can see. Harbor, he leads you through, and he says, "This is not the heart of the forest, but perhaps we can find it from here."
Can I go up to one of these house things and look inside?
Sure. What you see inside is just a pretty rustic dwelling. The one you look into, there's a spinning wheel. There's a simple bed. It's actually pretty large. The doorways are pretty damn tall. You find it quite easy to get in there, actually, Gondor, if you wish. But from the window, there's no glass. It's just open. Very earthy. There's no carpet, no flooring. It's just, there. There's a table with some leaves and stuff, some twigs. No pitchers or platters or cutlery as you might expect.
Harbor, what lived here?
He says, "I don't know. I've never been here.
Hmm.
Never been to the village. I've never found it."
But you've heard of it.
Oh, that's the blood bucket.
He says, "Yes, I've heard of it." He's sort of hustling you guys through the clearing, like he wants to get a move on.
I sat down on the logs. Oh, we're moving. Oh.
I don't see them here, and with our quest, I think it best that we do not. And as he's speaking, there's a figure that steps out of the woods. Let's get a counter.
How close,
Attack!
how close is he? Can I throw a blood bucket at him?
What you see is not a necessarily threatening figure, but an imposing one.
Attack!
I reach all the way down to the bottom of my blood bucket and I grab a couple stones
You
and I pull them out and they're dripping.
and so's
just have
your
to use my
shirt,
hand.
yeah, and your sleeve and your cloak, which fell in a little bit.
I start licking it off my sleeve.
What does that sound like? Oh. Brad's looking at himself.
Nice. So, the figure that steps out of the forest, it was at the edge of the clearing. I
We got a
cannot
token?
find a token.
You want us to draw one?
Hold on.
I kind of like the drawing thing.
Ooh, let's do this. Here's a picture of a sexy lady. For some
Ah.
reason. And it's in paint.
What the?
No, that's roll 20, is it? No, it is.
Right.
Paint.
It's a mob boss.
Oh shit! You came to me in your time of need.
But what steps out of the trees here is this. It looks like a giant or maybe a half giant. It's easily 10 feet tall, bearded, with a pink nose. And this creature steps out and it looks at Harbor and he looks at the party and he says, "What's your purpose here?"
Holy shit!
He's holding a quarterstaff, which is as tall as he is. It's tremendous, and he's walking toward you, maybe a little bit threatening, but
standing behind Gondor.
I'm behind the
shit.
fairy.
He's taller than you.
Harbor quickly.
Splash!
Oh no!
You threw the blood bucket.
No, no.
Okay.
He wouldn't waste it.
Harbor goes quickly to the creature, and he says, "We only wish to pass to the heart of the forest." And this giant, it looks down at him. It almost doesn't hear him. It's looking at the rest of you, and it says,
Gondor.
"Pixie, you led these people here." "Yes, we are here for." And he sort of fumbles for words, and he says, "King Corpus sent us." And the giant steps past him, sort of pushes him away.
I want to push Gondor forward. Just give him a nudge.
He looks at you, Horris. He says,
Don't-
"What is your purpose here? You should go now."
I have a bucket of blood with me. Don't fuck with me, guy. I'm here with this little pixie fairy dude. Alright, let him answer the questions, alright? Just let him whisper in your little ear, alright? I got a bucket of blood, don't fuck with me.
And Harbor says, "We mean no ill will. We're here at the behest of King Corpus." And the giant, he plants his quarterstaff, and he says, "I don't know who King Corpus is, but it's not a name I know."
Feist?
So this giant has sort of orc-like features. Really, he's got tusks and a red nose. He's dressed he's dressed simply, no armor, just like a shirt and pants. He has
Let's get the crowbar.
maybe not tusks, but big teeth. Anyhow,
Hey, you want more tusks, guy? I got
God.
tusks for you.
so
Shit.
he says, "You should go, whatever your purpose is, and
Tony.
just
Tony,
leave the
Tony,
village."
Tony. Hey,
Okay.
Tony.
I grab the stones I have in my hand. I drop all but one, and I dip it back in the blood real quick and pull it out, and I just sort of flick it at his shirt.
You can't reach that high. You can get a little bit on the hem of his pants.
I can't throw that far.
He's
Flicking
10
a rock.
feet tall. Yeah.
That's
Wait,
a
what?
rock. I can't
Flicking
throw
the
a rock.
rock.
Okay, you're throwing. I thought you were just flicking blood on him with your finger.
No. I'm
Okay.
throwing a stone covered in blood.
I gotcha. So the
This guy.
right, the stone then it hits his shirt and sticks for a second. It's very thick, viscous blood, and then it falls off. And
That was
the
one of my blood suckers. So I was gonna suck on that later. But
the giant looks down. His shirt is already kind of dirty and filthy, so it doesn't make a big difference. Kind of your kind of guy, really, Horris. If you won't go, at least state your business. What brings you to the village?
Please excuse his behavior. We'll be on our way.
He says,
What?
"That's
We're not-
best."
No. No. We got sent here for the thing.
What thing?
So somebody tell him the thing. I don't want to tell him the thing. I'm going over here with my blood.
Do you
bucket.
know of the Redmane forest?
His eyebrows go up. He says, "Yes, you're here about that."
Do you know what has happened to the Redmane forest?
He says, "What forest? It's gone."
Yeah.
He plants his quarterstaff.
We're trying to assist in the revival of Redmane Forest.
He nods and he says, "A worthy task. Why are you
That's
here?"
our business. Bye bye.
We're seeking out one of the hearts of your home here.
The hearts.
Request.
He says, "What do you want with the hearts? You're going to
We're
ask
going
them
to
questions?"
request assistance. If they may have a solution to our issue.
So you want to go to the heart of the forest?
Yes.
That is our
we do.
wish.
He nods to the pixie and he says, "You were taking them there." And Harbor says, "Yes, I was trying to take them to the heart, but the standing stones no longer tell the way." Yes, there's a reason for that. It's so people like you don't come through looking for the heart of the forest. He's looking at Harbor, giving him sort of a critical look. Then he looks at you.
Sure. Step back.
What do you intend to do?
We only wish to help.
So what did King Corpus send you here to do?
Seek help from
We-
the hearts.
We should I just tell the guy? Am I telling him?
We're gonna burn it all down. motherfucker. I did not say that.
Yeah, Harbor comes over, he says, "Don't mention the fire." He says it very quietly, but very urgently.
Should we tell him why we're here? Like why we're? I mean, this guy could just like be the why didn't you say so kind of guy, and
Maybe.
just takes our hands and walks us to where we need to go.
His
I don't know,
pinstripe suit is pretty.
I'm not really
Pretty
good at this. Should we be subtle or should we just tell him what we're doing?
How about this, Horris? Why don't you give me an insight check?
Okay, I'm inciting.
What was the name of the thing we were looking for? The seed.
A life seed is the term.
Life seed.
I got an insight check of 11, a 1/1.
Okay.
Does that mean I get to re-roll twice?
Yeah, you get to roll with advantage. This giant here, if he is a giant, he doesn't really look like a giant. You've seen giants before. And I'm going to say giant again just to round out the sentence. So he seemed to react favorably when you said that you were trying to rebuild Redmane, but he just doesn't want you in the forest is sort of what you're getting.
Ah, I get it. You're a racist.
Do you say that?
Yes,
the giant?
I say that very incriminatingly. Can I make an intimidation check?
Okay.
Oh fuck. Oh, it is +1. Okay, cool. 18.
Wow. So Horris snarls and growls.
I puff up my chest like I'm gonna do something because he doesn't like me for the way I am.
Exactly. For a moment, you see fear in this giant's eyes, and then resolve. He takes up his staff, he steps menacingly toward the party, and he says, "Be gone now. Your quest has nothing to do with me. Get out of here. Away from the village."
Our quest has nothing to do with you. You're right. So step aside and let us pass, or else you're about to get.
Is he telling us to get out of the forest or just out of his little village?
He doesn't want you in the village.
Oh, then why are we still here?
I tried to leave.
Gondor.
Well,
Yes, we will leave right away. Can you point us towards the heart, please?
I will not do that. Just leave. Get out of here. Unless you want to
Okay.
fight.
Well, hey guy, could you just point us towards the heart?
He makes a sound like a bird, a little bird note, and you see that there are more of these such giants
Oh shit.
around the
Oh.
village that have been looking.
Alright, yep.
Okay, Horris, time to go.
Oh,
Come on.
Wait, I can't forget my blood bucket. 1 sec.
Oh,
What? What's your name?
Horris, you're going to take an attack of opportunity. Because you turned back for the blood bucket, they don't want you here. He's going to take a swing at you.
Alright.
I'd like to knock him over.
No, he doesn't hit you, but he swings threateningly at you. You have no business with the heart of the forest.
And I throw another bloody stone at him.
It
And then
misses.
I run.
Actually, no, you're a pretty good shot. It'd probably hit him. He's a big target, too.
What's your name?
He gives you no name.
Who's your daddy? Is he rich?
He is your daddy.
Like Gondor?
Alright, let's clear this playing field.
What the fuck was that, Harbor?
Those are the furbolgs.
Furbolg.
Firbolg, furbolg.
Could we have fucked them up?
You guys can give me a history check if you want to know what those are. If you know what those are.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what they are. They are.
Furbolg jizz.
They're 8. I don't know what they are.
They're big, is what they are, and they're kind of
Oh
scary.
wait, no, I rolled that with a +1, so it would have been 6.
I'm actually proficient in history. Gives me a whopping 8.
Gondor had a pretty good roll. Gondor, you know that furbolgs are protectors of the forest, and so you generally don't see them. However, another insight given Horris's detection before, they are of Fey ancestry. They're sort of like a variety of giant. They're a different flavor of giant. They're not so warlike. They're more interested,
Chocolate flavored.
almost like elves.
Are they druids?
Generally, yes, they would be druids. And in fact, that might explain the druid text on those standing stones that Harbor had been following.
Read that.
Yeah, more than likely. In fact, with the exchange that Harbor and the Furbolg had back there, you think that the Furbolgs had modified the signs intentionally to keep folks like Harbor and yourselves out. Now that I know where the village is, I think I can lead you to the heart. But we will have to be careful not to get caught. The Furbolgs know this whole territory.
I suppose it would have been wise to get on their good side.
Harbor,
What are furbolgs like? You know, long walks on the beach, maybe a nice perfume.
Gondor could tell you that Furbolgs like being left alone. They're much like dryads. They like to keep to
Horris could've told me
themselves.
that too.
They're interested only in the forest. And when you talked about Redmane burning, he had some amount of pity, some amount of sympathy, empathy for the fact that the forest was ruined. But it seems like he's much more defensive of Everdew. So perhaps because it's his home.
Fast. I mean, we just fucked that shit up yesterday.
I think they can see it.
Yeah, it was quite an
honestly.
inferno, yeah.
Probably blacked out the sky.
It also burned parts of Everdew, too. Not big parts, but parts of it.
Yeah, it's mostly wet, so
Mm.
didn't really
Yeah,
count.
we know nothing about it. We don't know how that happened.
Yeah, exactly. No, I like that the story's changing. Like as you're walking back with Harbor, and you're like, yeah, man, can you believe those guys burned down the fucking forest? Like, whoever did that was a real asshole.
Those fucking piggies.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Like you're trying to
You guys hear
find
that?
other people to blame.
Did you guys hear there was a portal open to the incestuous?
Oh my god.
The incestuous plane.
You
Yeah.
know, maybe?
A bunch of uncle fuckers came out and lit it on fire.
Hey, Harbor. You think we could have taken them?
No.
Pretty tough, eh?
You may have taken down the entire forest, but these men, the Furbolgs, they're taller than most trees.
Yeah, but are they fire resistant?
He rolls his eyes. He says, "Are you really trying to burn down another forest?"
No. Just testing you. Making sure you're on the right side.
Harbor leads you back to this clearing here, and back where the boar was. In essence, you're not too far from where the village is. In fact,
We take a quick 5-minute break?
sure. Yeah, penis break, guys.
I need
Yeah.
ice cream.
Okay,
That's great.
do it up.
Cream with a little blood and poo in it.
Mmm,
Oh yeah.
Horris flavor.
Yeah.
7/16 of a bucket. I haven't used much since.
You're both wisdom boys, right? You got animal hand.
Wisdom boys. I think they
Either of you
do.
proficient in it?
No,
Either of you have speak with animals?
I don't think they
Eh,
do.
I could have if I picked a different oath, but no.
Mm.
Either of you have sleep with animals?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I think that ice cream went bad.
What?
What?
Ugh.
Are you gonna fucking die?
Well, because the last time I ate it, I'm pretty sure I let it sit for a while. Like I ate
does
the,
that mean?
I ate half the carton and it was just sitting here,
Oh.
and then I put it back in the freezer, and then I took it back out and got a bowl of it, and then I put it.
Oh,
back
so
in.
it's all crystallized. Yeah. Not so good. Not as smooth. But it's not expired, or is that what you're saying?
Maybe, I don't know. I've had it for like since I moved in here. So.
It's probably fine.
Jesus.
That's
put
been,
it-
what, like 4 months or something?
Yeah.
Just put it in a blender with some milk. It'll be all right.
Shit, James is like a chef over here.
Yeah. James eats everything in shake form.
He does.
Next time you see him, you gotta
Boy,
say,
with
"What's
the
shaking?"
blood.
Yeah, yeah.
James used to come over on Fridays and we get like wings and shit, and he just put it in a blender with like blue cheese and shit. I always wonder what was up with that.
Yeah.
You only just
and
now
with the
thought,
straw.
huh. Yeah.
And then-
Like one of
Yeah,
those
it's
really
on-
big straws.
Yeah,
What
his
about
own
those?
personal like platinum plated straw.
Huh.
Thing was dope.
No, it was like the curly straw glasses. Like it goes up and around your face.
Yeah.
Alright, I stopped twirling Gondor's hair.
Okay.
It's been going for the last 20 minutes.
Harbor, please continue leading us.
It's guidance I don't think I can give you. I may be able to help you to the heart, but just know that the furbolgs have followed us.
I want to cut off a foot of my hempen rope with my scimitar
Okay.
and hand it to Harbor.
Why are you giving me this?
Yeah, take it.
Why?
You might need it.
Okay. We will need to go away from the village and around the village. And that way, perhaps get to the heart.
Okay.
We'll
You
need to
have
find
a
another standing
full trust,
stone.
Harbor.
Can
Right.
we move quickly and escape the fur blogs?
They're not pursuing us, they're watching us.
Okay.
Are they fast?
They're watching us.
Uh,
Start flipping off the air.
you know that giants are pretty darn fast. They're very big. They got big strides.
Are they smart?
Compared to giants, furbolgs are very smart.
Nice. Well done.
Uh,
Harbor leads you guys off down the road, and again, he's going slowly because you need to weave and sort of look through the forest for the next standing stone. And now and then he'll fly up and through the canopy. He goes up, up, up. These are very tall trees here. It's a very old forest here, Everdew.
don't leave us.
And he goes up to survey, to look at the treetops, and you see him linger up there, and his gaze goes off to the west, where Redmane lies smoldering. And so he comes back down, and as you're going to the next standing stone, Horris, you hear a sound like coins somewhere off the path.
Coins.
Something. It sounds like coins rattling. It sounds like a real good pouch of awesome shiny coins rattling.
Guys, I'm going, and before I even finish my sentence, I just sort of start like going this way.
Yeah.
I leave a drip of blood. Right there.
So he goes. You guys can sort of hear the jangling too.
So, I sort of like pick up my pace, and I hear it. I hear it louder and louder.
Yeah.
And, there's a tree branch that had fallen in front of me, and I try and take a step over the branch, but I'm not sure if my short little legs can make it. So I make an acrobatics check. 18.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
There's more blood in the bucket than there was before.
I swing the bucket forward as I'm about to trip, and I catch myself, and then I swing it back, and everything's okay, and I take a slurp, and I keep going.
Nice. Horris, what you find here is it's a hooded creature that's making this sound. It's got a black beak. It's all shrouded in black. It's about your height, a small little thing. From its beak is issuing this sound like coins rattling. It sounds like the way a banker would idly heft coins in his hand and just sort of rattle them, almost like a poker player. You know this is a kenku. It's
yes, Kenku.
a wingless bird creature. So as you get close, you realize that it's your boy Marvin. This is Marvin, your old friend.
Marvin, what up, bruh?
He embraces you, and he slaps you 5. There's the secret handshake, you know, and he makes that sound like jangling coins. That's the name he calls you, Horris.
What?
Dude, I'm so excited.
I suppose we should go over there.
As you arrive, you see Horris and this diminutive bird creature. It's just swaddled up in robes, sort of hiding itself. But it's making all these different sounds. It makes the sound of bird song, and then feet marching. It makes the sound of a tree falling. But it says no words, but it's telling Horris this story of where it's been.
I jingle my chainmail back and forth.
Shut up, idiot! I'm trying to listen to what he's trying to say.
Hold on, I have a token.
Oh, it's a fucked up Kenku.
It's a dick butt with wings.
It's your boy Marvin.
Boy.
So Marvin's pretty happy to see you. He's he makes that coin clicking noise in the back of his throat that he knows pleases you so much.
Yes.
So
you got any coins for your boy to jingle around, or?
Yeah, he does. He goes into his cloak, he pulls it aside, and he's got a little pouch, and he empties out. There's like a few metal buttons in here. They're not all coins, but he knows you don't care. You don't, they make a good sound. And so he hands you off 2 silver, 3 copper, a couple of buttons, some small stones.
Oh, stones too.
I'm still jingle jangling my armor.
I drop the bucket and it sort of bounces off the ground. A little bit spills out, but it's still mostly there. And I just start rolling all of it back and forth in my hand.
Marvin, he glances at the bucket and he looks at you, Horris. He makes sort of like a drinking sound. Sort of, he's asking if he can have some.
Yo, bro, you know you could have whatever you want. Brought this for you.
Marvin makes this chittering like a squirrel, and then he goes to the bucket. He dips his beak in, and he does that thing that birds do when they're drinking, where he tilts his head upward and sort of swallows. There's the extra clear eyelid that flicks over his eyes. He has jet black eyes. He takes a drink of the blood. He looks at you, Olenoth, and he makes the exact same sound of your chainmail jingling in the same timbre, the same rhythm.
Yeah,
I
so
stop, and I want to tap my foot on the ground.
guys, this is my boy Marvin. Don't take advantage of his sound making.
He's like the guy from Police Academy, basically. But Horris, you know that your boy Marvin, he as a Kenku, they have no speech of their own. They can only imitate others. Horris, how did you meet Marvin?
So Marvin's my boy. Yeah, this is Marvin, also known as Marvin and I met in the woods about 9 years ago. I was on a hike, and I was looking for some food, and your boy Marvin came out of the woodwork. And at first I thought he was going to attack, but then he started making the noise that or he started whistling. The song that I had been whistling for the past hour and a half. So he was following me the whole time. So your boy Marvin and I started harmony, and after our 10-minute duet, we decided, your boy Marvin and I needed to hang out a bit more, and that's the story.
Is his
Nice.
first name your boy?
Your boy Marvin. That's just, I mean, Horris is clearly pretty excited to see his friend. I mean, the thing is, you get the impression that Horris doesn't deal a lot with other people, but Marvin's... Yeah, exactly. But Marvin's a little bit different in sort of a quirky and good way. Especially that,
How do we communicate with him?
You jingle your chainmail.
So, as you...
Talk to him.
Yeah, when you say that, Gondor, Marvin looks at you and says exactly the same thing in your voice back to you.
Talk.
So Marvin sees Harbor there lingering, and he makes a sound like a fly buzzing. And Harbor says, "Hey!"
Exactly, little pixie fairy idiots.
Yeah. And then Marvin and Horris like fist bump with that.
Marvin, do you know where the heart of the forest is?
He
God
So-
was on top of it.
Marvin blinks, and then he makes a sound like a heart beating,
Yes,
and then he
that.
nods.
Can you
Oh, shit.
can you guide us there?
Marvin looks to you, Horris. He makes sort of like a dog whimpering noise, like.
What's wrong, Marvin? What's wrong, my boy?
And Marvin starts clinking like coins again. He's sort of bobbing up and down. He's just happy to be with you.
So what have you been up to, Marvin?
Marvin, he'd been interrupted by your friends arriving. He goes back into it, and again, there's the marching of feet, implying that he's moved somewhere, a fluttering of feathers. And then you hear Marvin says in that Furbolg's voice that you had been talking to before, you hear him say, "The balance of the forest is the most important thing." And there's more chatter from these Furbolgs that you hear. It must be. They all have the same sort of gruff, low timbre to their voices. And you hear more about the heart of the forest is moving, and they're talking about bread and food and things like that. A lot about equality and keeping things even. There's talk of Sylvanas.
Pretty racist to me.
No, you get the idea that these guys are all about, like, communism. It's not racism, it's about keeping everything even. Things have to be together. And as well, Marvin sort of emphasizes this point. He repeats this phrase from one of the Furbolgs, is that Redmane is gone. And so what does this mean for the balance of the forest? It sounds like they're a little bit nervous about that.
Oh.
And so Marvin is like he's reiterating a few different conversations that he's overheard. It sounds like he's been in this area for a while, sort of bumming around. And then Marvin looks to Gondor and he goes. He makes that heart beating noise again.
Oh, we couldn't hear it.
Yes, yes. The heart of the forest. Can you guide us?
Marvin nods. He nods kind of quickly, and he makes a sound like feet marching, like a 1 2 1 2, and then he starts setting off.
Your boy's taking off.
Let's follow.
All right, we got my boy.
Your boy. All right.
How fast is this thing?
Let's see. Let me look up my
Like, is he moving fast?
Kenku sheet.
Or is he just kind of waddling along?
No, he's pretty quick. Yeah, he's your standard humanoid. I mean, he's moving,
He's
you know,
humanoid.
30, 35 feet per turn.
Does he
Yeah,
have
he-
wings?
No,
He has
Kenku are
arms
wingless.
and legs on.
Right.
He just has he's like it's like a crow's body, but like a humanoid crow.
And he's got a tail?
He might. I don't know. Horris, you've never seen him without his robes on, yeah.
Oh shit. You guys ain't done
Yeah,
that yet?
we ain't like that.
No, they ain't done that. So Harbor is just sort of following, and he's like falling further and further back because he's, you know, he can't really guide you. He's not sure what he's doing here exactly.
Is Horris petting Marvin at all?
No, I don't think so.
No, we bros.
Yeah.
It's
It's a different level of respect.
I'm just curious.
It's a level of respect that you can only aspire to have with Horris, really.
I just like to pet things.
Should you put that on your sheet? That's like a negative trait. It's a quirk. You were petting that boar before you slammed it with a hammer.
Oh wait, no, that was Omar that likes to pet things. Oh,
It's true. Oh yeah, because it was Trock that you were.
Jake likes to pet things.
So as you're going through the forest following Marvin here, and he slows down. He takes a little bit more stealthy approach, and he quietly reiterates like Furbolg dialogue. So he's letting you know that they're in the area, and you guys will have to move quietly.
Okay.
It
The epitome of stealth.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are gonna make
take the-
stealth rolls for me.
I take the stones out of the
Out of the bucket. Yeah, silent mode.
Put them in my pocket. Yeah. Sort of lick my fingers afterwards.
Oh boy.
Yeah, at this point, Horris is like his hands, his wrists, his face, his chin—they're all just covered in blood. He looks revolting.
Got a 19.
Oh, I get a +2 to that though.
A +2, but at disadvantage is the problem.
I rolled disadvantage.
Wait,
Oh, God.
what are we rolling?
Stealth check to stay away from the Furbolgs that you know are lurking.
Yeah,
These
me
two
and
are
my boy
fine.
Marvin, we know how to stealth around these parts.
Yeah, Marvin does a pretty good job too. Yeah, Marvin's pretty quiet. He travels pretty light. I mean, in fact, he gave you the coins he had, so he's got nothing rattling. Real light customer. So Olenoth, you're drawing a lot of attention.
Yes.
I'm Pachinki over here.
Olenoth, quiet down.
What?
Quiet.
Harbor says
You drove.
Harbor says they know we're near. We'll have to be quieter. Are you looking for a fight, warrior?
I'm gonna grab onto the rope that I gave to
Harbor.
Harbor and told him, lift me off the ground.
He says, "All right." He holds the end of it and then just sort of holds it, flies above you, and he's obviously not going to pick you up, but he's
Oh,
doing it just kind of for the joke.
okay. Good job.
Thanks.
Anything to make him lighter on his feet.
So you hear heavy footsteps in the direction of the village. You're perhaps not far enough away. Maybe Marvin hasn't guided you far enough, but you're going to have to get farther away from the village here. You still don't have a standing stone to guide you, to give you a general direction. At least that's what Harbor was trying to do, but you're not sure if Marvin is traversing in the same way. So Marvin leads you farther away from the village. And give me some more stealth checks. Let's see if you guys can get away.
11 for me.
Yeah. A little better.
Okay. Yeah, that is a little bit better. You finally find a standing stone. Harbor sort of goes off a little bit to find it. Marvin seems to be pretty confident about where he's going, but Harbor goes to one of the standing stones and confirms, and he says, "Your new guide is doing a fine job. Do you still require me?"
Yeah, you're sticking with us.
Right.
Of course, man. You're part of the party now.
Yeah, you're part of the team. We're the 5
Motherfuckers.
chimichangas.
When you say that, you extol this camaraderie. Harbor seems a little bit touched, actually. He enjoys that. He's happy to fall in with you. Yeah,
You're our second boy.
indeed.
No. One boy is me, okay? That's my boy. Marvin over here.
I'm gonna pull down on the rope and put him on my shoulder.
He's not willing to get that close. He's a little bit more apart from you.
I thought you wanted to be touched.
He shakes his head, happy to be part of the team, but not that.
Let's roll.
So
gotta be initiated.
yeah,
Get the racket.
get the other bucket, the more sinister bucket than the bucket full of blood.
Would Horris let me touch him?
Get the broomsticks.
Your boy Marvin.
You don't want to touch Horris.
I don't.
So
I really don't.
Marvin leads you quite a ways around. If you guys want to do nature checks, you can sort of gauge roughly where you are in relation to the village, because maybe you guys don't trust this bird creature. Gondor, I will say that you get a bad vibe off of him. Not only because he's one of Horris's friends, and so he's therefore just basically untrustworthy. But
Wow.
no, but Kenku, wow, that too, yeah. He was drinking blood. Let me reiterate that. So maybe he's a vampire as well. He could be a vampire
After
bird.
the vampire bird sucked blood out of
Hey,
me.
We got a
what is
running
this?
theory on the
What is
vampire thing.
what is this? The GM trying to thread fear and doubt in this part.
I'm just throwing it out there. Just the blood thing. It
Only
says a certain
Gondor's
thing.
No, Gondor is disturbed by it.
That and the fact that Kenku are generally chaotic, which, you know, you're a lawful sort of guy, so that doesn't bode well for you. But with your wow, yeah, Gondor, you rolled real well.
Did.
With that nat 20.
-1.
Yeah, you know that if you were going to try to find the heart of the forest, and based on the directions that Harbor had been taking, it looks like he's leading you in the right direction, but you are cutting quite close to the village. And you suspect that maybe he's going to try to, you know, get too close, but then Marvin, he begins making forest noises and the noises of other furbolgs and a lot of distracting noises, and he does it expertly. And he manages to distract the furbolgs that you can detect with these pretty decent nature checks. The other two are pretty much fucking oblivious to this. But Gondor, you know that the furbolgs,
On the blood.
they had been watching, and you can tell by the natural signs. Marvin does a great job at guiding you dangerously close to the village and through. And you guys eventually arrive at our next location. Let me make sure I'm sending you the right one. Yeah, this is the right one.
The next location.
My boy Marvin getting us there.
Phenomena.
Marvin pulling through.
Ooh,
Wait, what the fuck is that?
there's a hamburger.
It's a hamburger.
Flour in his hair.
It's a veggie burger.
If you want to zoom in, you can see it a little bit better. So Marvin leads you here, and he makes a sound like running water. He makes a sound like a woodpecker hitting a tree. Lastly, he makes this heart-beating sound.
Do it again.
This place looks not unlike that other heart of Redmane, except it's not on fire is the main difference. It's also not blighted. But by a pond, you see a dryad reclined by the water. She's watching her own reflection.
I would like to make a stealthy approach
Mhm.
on the bitch. And
Yeah.
sort of get behind her, but
Yeah.
not to the point where she could see me in the reflections she's looking at.
Okay, roll stealth.
All on stealth.
Olenoth is hot on his heels now.
No! Stay away!
Rattle, rattle, rattle.
Ooh.
How'd you do? Okay, you did well.
19.
Unfortunately, she's seated, so you can't get a good booty smack going.
Damn!
But so the dryad, she sees the rest of you, and she sort of waves invitingly.
Oh, cool.
She says, "Visitors."
Okay.
Oh, skip on over.
I'm still like in the thickets over here.
She gestures for you to sit down by the waterside, take a drink, perhaps. Yep.
Nah, I just want to sit next to her. Can I touch her?
She's not letting you get that close.
Oh. Yeah, no, I didn't try.
Why do you want to touch
Can I
What?
can I cast another divine sense? Because I'm kind of suspicious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know that dryads are fey creatures. But yeah, so you're gonna sense for
Detect
good and evil. Yeah. You don't see anything. There's nothing celestial, nothing evil here. Actually, no, that's not true. You do sense something evil. The heat that you detect here, it smells like Redmane did a little bit. You're catching faint little hints of it. Nothing specific, but it may have to do with the embers in the air still carrying on the wind, perhaps. But there's certainly no pervasive evil as you sensed in Redmane before. No celestial, no demons. I hope Asarel didn't detain you.
Oh,
The Furbolg, the Guardian, the other Guardian. She says, the Furbolgs are very defensive of this forest. I have seen travelers. I know they pass through now and again. And I mean you no harm.
are you their leader?
Whose? The Furbolgs? No.
Asinine.
We know one another, she says, but they are fervent. They are defensive about the forest.
Fervent? What the fuck does that mean?
Fervent. Fervent. It means someone who's very attached, someone who's gung-ho about their cause.
I'm gonna fucking start writing down every word I don't understand that you say.
Furbolg?
No, I got that one. He's a giant.
So Marvin comes by toward the Dryad and he makes a sound like rustling leaves on the wind. She sort of inclines her head to him, but you get the sense that she feels the same way about Marvin that Gondor does. You know, a little bit of unease, chaotic creature. She is welcoming, but she's not, not so with open arms.
I'm Olenoth. I hold up my hand.
I'm Peppadrill.
Peppadrill.
Yeah. There's a nameplate. Pippadrill.
And I am
That's her name.
Gondor.
She says, "Welcome to the heart of the forest."
Wait,
Yeah, it's if you move your token, you can see it. See?
I can't see it. There's no name there.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just for me. I don't know. She's 232. She likes hummingbirds. She likes hyacinths.
Hyacinths. Okay.
Yep.
She want to go out? Did she shake my hand?
She extended her hand as a princess does for you to kiss, but you didn't kiss it. You just held it for a moment.
Oh.
And Gondor went on one knee for her in a standard greeting, and she acknowledged it. She still doesn't know about Horris lurking in the background.
Okay.
Mistress, we have come here at the behest of King Corpus.
Horris!
Horris leaps out, surprises her.
He pushes her in the water.
She goes, "Ah!"
I'm Horris.
I scream.
I'm Horris.
Horris, as you jump out, you knock the bucket, and some of the blood goes in the water.
No! No, the bucket's all the way over there.
Oh, you left it behind?
I guess. I don't have control over it anymore.
Oh.
No,
It's
my
its own
blood.
thing. Yeah, you would have had the blood with you. Here, let me move it.
Alright.
You have it with you. There's very little blood left, but some of it goes in the pond, and Pippadrill does not like that.
My bad. That's not my blood. That's not their blood either. That's a horse. I mean a horse blood. That's a yeah, not a person.
Blood
I
of a
don't-
whore.
I don't kill women. But
She says, "Little halfling, you are so rude."
I'm Horus.
You need to understand.
She gives you a stern
Horus
look.
means well.
I start doing like in the air like roundhouse kicks and stuff with my short stumpy legs, just like showing off. my
Marvin
power.
immediately joins you. He's also doing roundhouse kicks. He can't jump as well as you, but he can do pretty good kicks.
Nice.
You guys are doing
Hey,
karate in the garage together.
They both mean well.
She
Why
says,
you gotta go over there a little further?
We just start sparring.
mm.
Doing cartwheels and shit. It ends up with them picking flowers.
Marvin makes a sound like a full-on army fighting, just like weapons clanging, like he makes it really intense. There's war drums and everything.
Somehow he knows what a lightsaber sounds like.
They both end up laying in the grass with their chins in their palms, with their feet kicking up in the air.
Yeah. And Horris has his favorite coins, and he's jangling them like left to right, clink clink, and then Marvin is imitating them perfectly, clink clink, and they just go back and forth, clink clink, clink clink.
And then the furbolgs come and destroy them.
Alright, so now we're doing our own thing.
So Gondor and Olenoth, you're by the pond with Pippadrill. She says, "What does this King Corpus want?"
I'm sure you've heard of the Redmane forest disaster.
I think I heard a rumor about that. What happened?
Yeah, it's gone.
She leans in. She says, "What do you mean gone? Is the blight gone?"
Blight appears to be gone.
Harbor says, "Yes, the blight is gone. The blight, it's all gone. The forest is
Taken By
fine."
the ancestral realm.
Incestuous.
She says, "That's good that the blight is gone." I'm very happy to hear that.
Forest.
And Harbor shoots you a look like you shouldn't have fucking said that. Then the smoke, the fire is worse than I thought.
We want to try
Yeah,
to.
that shit got burned down.
Yes, we're trying to restore the forest to what it once was before the blight.
Marvin makes a sound like an inferno.
Thanks, Marvin.
He makes this sound.
Thanks.
Where's my fire sound? There we are. That's the sound he makes. It goes from an inferno, and then he tones it down to like a nice campfire sort of tone for him. And yeah. How do you intend to fix the forest? She says, "Return it to what it once was, but if there's nothing left, how do you intend to fix it?"
Gondor, I'm not very charismatic.
We were told that the seed from the heart of the forest could help us.
Corpus sent you here for a seed.
Yes?
That's right, mistress. But if it does not inconvenience you, we're not here to take the seed that you need. Perhaps if there's another. And Pippadrill nods. I cannot provide you with a seed, but there are 2 hearts of the forest here in Everdew. And she leans down. She takes a long, luxurious drink from the pond.
Is she hot?
Well, she's got
You're
some
ridiculous.
bark skin going on. She's a little old for you, maybe.
Yeah,
But,
I don't mean in a sexual way. Is
She
on
has
fire?
she has a sparkling intelligence to her eyes. She's not on fire. She is just woody, bark-like.
Woody and witty.
I will offer you a drink from the spring. She says the revitalizing power of this water could help, but it will not heal an entire forest. And she sort of bites her lip and she looks at Harbor, and she says, "If you will, I can guide you to the other heart, where there may be a seed available for you to take."
What's her name?
The other heart, his name is Hutchins.
I didn't realize there were he's.
Hutchins is the elder of the 2 hearts of the forest here.
Brother?
No. She says, "We were born at different times. I came here from another place. He was born here." She sits back, puts her palms on the in the grass, leans back, gets some of that good sunshine, and she says, "Hutchins doesn't take as good care of the seed, and I think that perhaps the forest would be better off without him."
Are you
Without
implying he'll give us the seed willingly?
No, not willingly, but as I said, he does not take such good care. He won't be, for example, watching his tree.
I understand.
What is...
Olenoth, Gondor is like immediately on board with this subversive shit. You're asking about the seed, Olenoth?
yeah. What is a seed?
The heart of the forest each has its own seed. Most forests will have no heart or 1 heart, but the seed is the seed from which all the trees grow. And it's hidden very well hidden, she adds, and she gives a glance at the Kenku back there cavorting with Horris. But there are ways of revealing it.
I'll show you yours. You show me mine. I'll show
Why?
you mine if you show me.
Why would you allow us to take it so easily?
Hutchins and I are rivals, you might say, and he has had more than enough time. Right. He has had more than enough time to tend this forest, and I don't think he does as well as he should. He does not keep the furbolgs in check. He does not feed the creatures properly. In fact, I have seen the squirrels. They are malnourished. And they also allow pixies to come in and take the acorns, and this is no good. And Pippadrill has this long list of things that Hutchins does wrong, and she's going and going.
What about the boars?
What about the boars?
Yeah, are they taken care of?
She sort of squints at you. She says, "You took care of a boar. I know this."
What?
And she looks at the bucket of blood. I don't appreciate you taking pieces of them all over, but I don't mind if you're taking the seed from Hutchins to grow Redmane again. She says, "In fact, that's great."
Seed.
She shrugs almost like she doesn't care. She goes, "That's not my business."
Yeah, but okay, so theoretically, if somebody loses a seed, what happens to them theoretically?
A dryad can live without the seed. It is not part of them, but it is their duty to protect. Some of us take this duty more seriously than others, and Pippadrill has more on this list. She's going, going. Hutchins doesn't clear away the twigs where they ought to. He doesn't clean up his clearing. He keeps a very messy clearing. She also says that he keeps things out of balance. He doesn't have balance in mind.
I could call myself a dryad and grab a pine cone and say I have a seed. Is that possible?
She laughs.
Your seed?
She laughs and she says, Hutchins might believe that.
How do we get the seed from Hutchins?
We grab a pine cone and pretend we're dryads and then go up to them and say, "Hey,
Trade seeds.
yeah, I got a seed for you. Here's
Yeah.
another seed."
Yeah.
I can tell you how to get the seed as you make your way.
You're gonna come with us?
No.
She says, no. Harbor will guide you, and I will tell him what he needs to know.
Okay, so final question here. Final line of questioning. So does this guy fear anything?
Devotion, order, he despises all these things.
Does he fear things in the physical world, like, boars, buckets of blood?
No, but he would find them distasteful, as I do.
Okay, well, do you know of things that he does fear or not appreciate in the world?
Conviction. Yeah, she says fire he fears, as we all fear.
We don't play with
Yes.
fire.
Yeah, no,
Fire
we
is
don't
bad.
know
Okay,
anything
okay,
about
okay.
fire.
Yeah,
Thank you, we're done here.
Harbor
I
like
have
joins in with that chorus of "We don't care about fire, we don't burn shit." Like,
Fire's bad.
yeah, it's no good.
Bad.
Can I pull Harbor to the side and ask him if he trusts her?
Harbor,
While Gondor's doing that, I want to keep her busy with just like
Bring her
fucking
aside.
20 questions.
roll the charisma. Roll the charisma.
Who? Me?
You, yeah. Charisma check.
I don't. Well, just a straight charisma.
Well, add your charisma modifier.
Yeah, it's a -1.
Okay, yeah. So
So
subtract
Oh,
1.
natural 20.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. You're pretty
It's
glib
okay.
over here. Yeah, almost. You could be if you wanted to. You could rustle those leaves. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, Gondor said something about he said something about the pH levels of the soil, complimenting her, and she really
I'm Olenoth.
what did I call you? Okay, Olenoth. Yeah, Olenoth. You mentioned the pH level and the quality of the soil, and she lights up and she's talking about that.
That shit is tight.
Real passionate about that. Yeah. What's his face? Marvin is still over there. He's making like he makes sounds like rocks plunking down into the pond, sort of idly. So Gondor, you pull Harbor aside. He says, "What is it, friend?"
Do you trust what she's telling us?
I do. It looks like she will provide directions to the other heart.
Alright, so you can lead us there with her help.
If it's true that there are two hearts, then we should be able to find it. But this could be merely trying to get us out of her clearing, but she welcomed us. If we were to do something bad to her, we would have already done so. She trusts
Alright.
us, so I trust her.
I agree. Have her lead us.
Oh, what? We're adding another person to the party?
Hold on. You gotta wait. Give me a second. Hold on.
Keep tapping the mic.
It's not gonna work. Alright, we're good.
What are we
Okay.
experiencing here? I'm just...
Hey,
Alright, we're gonna go back over.
Olenoth is just flexing that muscle.
Yeah, he is. Olenoth is showing off a little bit.
How did
Pipadrill...
I get moved?
What's going on?
How did I get moved? You can't occupy the same 5x5 space as another medium-sized creature, my
If
friend.
I try hard enough, I can. I'll go.
You rolled a nat 20, that would...
I want to shake those branches, see what falls out.
He's just being friendly.
I
He's
want to
amazed
pluck
that-
your berries.
He's amazed that somebody actually wants to carry a conversation with him. He doesn't even know what PH stands for.
No, it's like PHAT, you know what I mean? So, Pipadrill, she leads you guys out of her clearing, and before she leaves, she has sort of like a very quick, mostly non-verbal conversation with Harbor, just instructing him, and she stays put. She sees you off as you leave the clearing.
Tree on fire. No, I didn't say that.
So, do we know where to find this guy? I didn't catch up on this.
Yeah,
Get over
Pipadrill is relating to Harbor how to reach the place.
I'm gonna
Gotcha.
pick up Marvin and Horris and put them over my shoulder.
So, what's the game plan when we get there? I have an idea, guys.
Yeah.
So, should we, if we do run into this little fucking rat, before we try and steal the seed, are we gonna try and steal the seed?
Pipadrill overhears this and she just chuckles.
Okay, so trying to steal. We're trying to steal the seed.
Are they on my shoulders?
Sure, yeah.
Sweet.
You've got Marvin on the left and Horris on the right.
Where's the bucket of blood?
It's down on the ground.
Oh.
No,
Can I kick it over?
I make a
Contested dex
Athletics
check.
check.
Okay, athletics. Alright. He's trying to knock the bucket over.
You son of a bitch.
Gondor, roll athletics.
Oh boy. Athletics plus.
No, not a +3.
Oh. He missed.
Slips in the mud.
Yeah, no, it's like Charlie Brown, where he pulls the football out and then Charlie Brown goes on his ass. That's how it happens.
Son of a bitch trying to kick over my blood. Get us, Marvin.
Marvin makes like a loon call.
Look away. Embarrassing.
And we carry our bucket of blood off in the sun.
I want to see how far up I can throw Marvin in the air. Fly, birdie.
Yeah, Marvin makes a tweeting sound like a bird.
Wait, how big are you, Jake?
I'm, bigger
He's
than you.
human size, yeah, but you're only like 3. Well, you're over 3 foot, Horris.
Marvin shouldn't be that small, right? Or is he my size?
Yeah, he's about your size. He's very stooped over. He might be more of a human size, but he's just kind of small too, a little bit runty, honestly.
I'm
But that's why you
5'10".
like him. That's why he's your boy.
Yeah,
5'10",
my boy Marvin.
175.
He's bite size.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, you can lift those guys up easy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, Horus is a little bit harder. He's kind of heavy. Big bones is the problem.
Yeah, that's what it is. So when we get there, If he's there actually guarding the seed like he should be, which he may not be, but if he's around, I have an idea, guys. I got an idea.
Maybe we should discuss this en route.
I think I'm gonna end the session there, boys. It's been a little
Okay,
while.
We'll end it on an idea.
On an idea.
Is that 2 blue balls?
Do
No,
you want to share the idea?
no,
Okay.
no.
No,
Get
that's
the
good.
idea?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I got the idea.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
We're good.
But we can
I'll mark it in my notes.
yeah, we can do some table talk if you want, or we could play some PUBG maybe.
I think this bitch is trying to get us to kill him.
I think so.
Maybe.